Okay, so tonight we're going to build a little bit on comparing fractions, and we're going to actually talk about putting those fractions in order. Okay, there's several ways to do this. You could go with doing common denominators. You can compare them to benchmark fractions. So we're going to work on those right now. Okay, so our first problem is Jody has equal size bins for the recycling center. She filled 3/5 of the bins with plastic, 1/12 of a bin with paper, and 9/10 of a bin with glass. Which bin is the most full? Okay, so we're going to compare these three fractions. All right, so we could go with finding common denominators, but this right here is going to pose a problem, okay, because you're going to have to ultimately multiply until you get something that's common with a 5 and a 10. And 12s are really hard. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You can do that with a number line. So let's take a look at a number line. Okay, so a number line looks like this. We're going to compare this with a benchmark fraction, right? So that would be a 12, or a half, sorry. If I was looking at 3/5, let's pretend for a second that this was broken into fifths. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that would still be our half mark. That would be a fifth. So if I had 3/5, I'd be 1, 2, 3/5. Would be right there. Okay, so it is bigger than 1/2. And 12. Let's break this into 12 as best as we can. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, that ain't gonna work. This is 3/5. 12ths. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's roughly 6. All right, so 12 then is going to be even smaller than 6. So 1/12 is going to be like right here. That is much smaller than 1/2, which is 6/12, right? And 9/10. So let's say 10ths, 9/10. So that's going to be here, here, here. Okay, so 9/10 is going to be all the way over here. So you can kind of visually see where these go as far as 1/2 goes. So we know that 1/12 is smaller than 1/2. We know that 3/5 is bigger than 1/2. And we know that 9/10 is bigger than 1/2. Okay, so we know that 1/12 is going to go first. So I'll put a number 1 right there. Now we need to figure out between 9/10 and 3/5. Well, 3/5 and 9/10 is going to be hard to look at a number line. So I'm going to take those two fractions, and I'm just going to do the butterfly method to see which one's bigger. Or you can find a common denominator. Okay, so this is 45. 10 times 3 is 30. So 9/10 is actually bigger than 3/5. So 3/5 is number 2. 9/10 is number 3. Okay, so hopefully that helps a little bit with that. You can only use the butterfly method with 2 numbers. So you need to eliminate one right off the bat. And you can do that if you know your halfway point. Like, I know that half of 5 is like 2.5. Half of 12 is 6. And half of 10 is 5. Okay, so I can make a number line to be able to reflect that. All right, so here's some more numbers to put in order. Let's go dual page screen so that you guys can look at the fraction strips, because that is by far the easiest way to put numbers in order. All right, so we have 7/10, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right here. We have 1/3 right here. We have 7/12 right here, and 8/10, which is right here. Okay, 7/10 and 8/10. Good. All right, so I can kind of look at that and see what I have in order. I know that 1/3, and then it'll go 7/12, 7/10, and 8/10. Let's see which of these are bigger than 1/2. Let's take a look at these numbers. Bigger than 1/2. Bigger than 1/2. Let's see. 1/2 of 10 is 5, so 8/10 is bigger than 5. 1/2 of 12 is 6, and so 7/12 is bigger than 6/12. 1/2 of 3 is 1.5. Okay, so that's actually not bigger. And 7/10 is bigger than 5/10. So this is less than is 1/3. Less than 1/2 is 1/3. So my 1/3 is going to go first. Oops. Okay, what comes next? If I look at my board over here, I have 10s and I have 12s. Which is my smaller pieces? My 12s, okay? So that's actually going to go next, 7/12. And then 7/10 and 8/10 have the same denominator. So that one's easy peasy. So you can use your fraction strips. All right, let's take a look at another one. All right, 3/4, 3/6, and 2/12. Let's look at my halfway point. So the ones that are less than 1/2. 1/2 of 4 is 2. So 3 is bigger than 2, so that's going to be bigger. So 3/4 is bigger than 1/2. 1/2 of 3 is 6. So 3/6 is actually equal to 1/2. 1/2 of 3 is about 1.5, so that is actually less than 1/2. And 1/2 of 12 is 6, and 2 is less than 6, so 2 should be less than 1/2. Okay, so I know my biggest number is going to be here. Okay, and I know that these two numbers right here are less than 1/2, so my second biggest is going to be here. So I'm going to have blank, blank, and then 3/4. Oh, nope. 3/6, because that's equal to 1/2, and then 3/4. So now I just need to figure out which one's bigger between these two, which I can do with the butterfly method. 1/3, 2/12. That's 6. That's 12. So 2/12 is bigger than 1/3. No, I'm a liar. 2/12 is smaller than 1/3 because 6 is smaller than 12. So 1/3 here and 2/12. You can use your fraction strips to verify. I have 1/3, 2/12, 3/4, and 3/6. Okay, so I can see that it should go 2/12, and then 1/3, and then 3/6, and then 3/4, which is how Miss Fernley had it. All right, your homework. Let's put the fraction strips in here so we can do this real quick. Alright, let's unlock this. Let's do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so here's our homework. All right, let's do 2 of these together. We'll do number 2 and number 7. All right, so, see, we have hundreds here. We can't use our cheat sheet with that, huh? So we're going to have to figure out on that one if it's close to half. So I have 1/5, 2/3, and 5/8. So I have 1/5, 2/3, and 5/8. Well, I can clearly see that it should be 1/5. And that's smaller. 5/8 and 2/3. All right. Let's take a look at number 5. All right, or number 7. I'm sorry. Okay, so now I have hundreds, which obviously this only goes up to 12, so I can't use that one. So I need to compare these to halves to figure out. So let's go, which ones are bigger than a half? Well, what's half of 100? 50. Is 50 bigger than 8? No. So 1/2 is actually bigger than 8/100. How about 5? Half of 5 is 2.5. Okay, so 3 is bigger than 2.5, so that is actually bigger than 1/2. And what's half of 10? Half of 10 is 5, and 7 is bigger than 5, so 7/10 is also bigger than a half. So my smallest number then is going to be my 8/10. Now I can use the butterfly method to figure out which one's bigger between 3/5 and 7/10. So I have 3/5, 7/10. Okay, if I cross multiply, that's 35 and 30. Okay, so 7/10 is actually bigger than 3/5. So my answer then is 8/100, 3/5, and then 7/10 is your answer for that one. The rest of them you should be able to use your fraction strips with, but you need to be able to know how to solve that using benchmark fractions. Okay, WSQ. Here we have a recipe for trail mix, and you need to order the ingredients from least to greatest. This is something that's on your test, so make sure that you are doing it. So compare those two halves, and might want to draw a number line. Okay, so separate those into thirds and fourths, and figure out which one is bigger than a half, smaller than a half, or equal to a half. And then you can put them in order, or at least eliminate 2 of them. All right, you guys have a good night. We'll see you in the morning.